All right, guys, so we're at that key critical retest level on Bitcoin. And the question you need to be asking yourself, is it time to sell? If you missed your opportunity to sell spot Bitcoin above 100K when we were trading up above all-time high, is now the next best opportunity to get out of those bags. So let's talk about it. So right now, in my opinion, Bitcoin is retesting the most critical high time frame level on the chart. So if you go to the weekly or even down to the 3-day, this is what I would consider a POB, point of breakdown, and a bearish order block, right? A bearish OB. So this is the up candle where the entire down move that took us out of this multi-month consolidation and created a new swing low. We've now retested that, and the question is, what do we do? So what you're seeing online right now is a ton of bullishness. A bunch of people, many of whom were not bullish when we were down at the lows, are now piling on, and they're saying the bull run is back. It's time to long altcoins. The trenches are back. Everything is going to start going up. Maybe they are right. I actually would much rather that they are right. I would much rather us go up from here than have another savage and nasty pullback. But we have to remain objective. We can't allow what we see online to dictate our decision making, because I know myself, and I'm sure many of you included, when we were trading down here, we would have killed for the opportunity to sell Bitcoin back above 90K, hell, at 95K. We would have killed to sell some of these altcoins, which are now back up significantly off the lows. Solana was trading below $100. Ethereum was trading below $1,400. Things like Fartcoin were trading down at 20 cents, now back over $1. So what is it? Is this a bearish retest, or is this the beginning of a move to return us to a bullish market, and we're going to trade a lot higher? So there's a few things that I want you to consider. The first thing we're going to talk about is the chart itself and what it means. And in my opinion, until proven otherwise, this is a bearish retest. There's no other way to look at this than we had a break of structure to the downside on the highest time frames, the weekly, etc. And now we're retesting that point of breakdown. If you were forgetting the fact that this is Bitcoin and this was just any other asset, or if this was even inverted, you likely would be like, yeah, I short here. So if you go back here, how is this any different? This is the point of breakdown of that entire down move. We came up, retested it, and we rejected, right? I know a lot of people are being like, oh, we're here. Maybe we are, but this is what I'm seeing all over Twitter. What about this? This was breaking out of all-time high after multiple attempts at the range high in an uptrend, with Trump getting elected into presidency and a lot of bullishness pricing in that trade. Where we are now is not remotely similar to that. From factors outside of just the chart, it's not even close, but the fact that we have all this tariff uncertainty, the stock market is in a downtrend, we have potential for a trade war with China, or it's already kind of occurring. A tweet can come out and change everything. So it's not even remotely similar to this, in my opinion, even though some people like to think it looks the same, which in my opinion, it doesn't even look the same. This actually looks a lot more similar to this, to me, where the market had clearly topped. We had a move down, right? Another move down, slightly higher low, and then we, rejected, grinded up higher. And what happened here? Everyone got bullish. Everyone was like, that's it for the dump. We're going back up. Lo and behold, this is the most obvious place on the chart for a bearish retest, and that's exactly what happened. We can go back even further. Go back to 2019. Let me pull up an older chart of Bitcoin here. Where we've had similar instances to this right here. Big range, multi-month range. Here is your point of breakdown of that entire range. We get a massive move up after a couple of moves to the downside. What happens? Price comes up to that area. Everyone gets bullish. It makes a lower low. So this is a lot more common, in my opinion, to reject than it is to be the bottom and be continuation. Same thing here. There's your point of breakdown, retested. Here's your point of breakdown, retested. So For now, in my opinion, I'm going to assume that this is a bearish retrace because that's what the chart is telling me. That's what our plan was from before we got here. We were planning to de-risk, hedge, short in this area. And now that we're here, just because everyone's hyped and they're telling you we're back, it doesn't necessarily mean it's time to just forget our objectivity, the plan that we had created initially. The reason why I like treating this as a bearish retest and sticking with our gut is, one, that's how you get discipline. You follow your plan, right or wrong. You trust your plan. That's how you're going to build the skill. Secondly, confirmation trades are some of the best trades that you can take. Buying Bitcoin once it broke through all-time high. Some people might say, well, buying here is late. We broke through all-time high. It's like, I don't know. To me, we had a 3-day close through the range high. That's about as much confirmation as you can get. You have a very easy stop loss, and price went on to trade $30,000 higher. Who cares that you missed this? This buy here was way riskier than this buy here. So if you can have a less risky buy and you can enter with big size and still catch a massive part of the move, who gives a shit if you didn't long the exact low? Longing on confirmation is actually a really, really easy trade. Same thing happened in the prior bull run, right? Once we broke through all-time high here, oh, but you missed the bottom, you're so late. Okay, but once we got confirmation, I mean, this thing absolutely ripped after this. It did like a 3.5x. So there's nothing wrong with waiting for confirmation. And the setup that we have right now, I think bodes very well for that. So we have clear resistance here on the high time frame. Confirmation, in my opinion, is us reclaiming this area. Reclaiming the point of breakdown. I would even be confident to buy an all-time high breakout because I do believe if we get a high time frame close above here, we get another $20,000 to $30,000 of upward price action. I'm not saying you can't buy here, you got to wait till all the way up here, but I'm happy to buy on confirmation. This works really well in the stock market as well. When we finally broke this old all-time high here, look what happened. Look at the resulting price action, and you're buying at all-time highs. Because once price has had a huge correction and then goes all the way back to all-time high and accepts above there, the market is telling you it's ready to trade higher. So that's how I'm treating this. And so in the Haven today, I sold some spot. So I sold some spot up in this area, and I've also hedged with a short. I'm not all in short. I'm not completely out of spot, but I'm leaving myself the flexibility to, one, if we do reject from here, make some money on the way down, and potentially, if we hold here, buy back, or if we don't, get to buy back even lower because this area still remains an area of interest to me if we're going to get a lower high. And it gives me, again, the optionality if we're just super bullish, maybe we get just a shallow pullback to that weekly breaker, which we'll cover in a second here. Guess what? I can buy back on confirmation. I still have spot. I made some money on my hedge, and I'm willing to buy back some of that spot if I so choose because I have now got confirmation that I believe we're going much higher, and I can just get back in. I don't care about missing some of the move. Selling here at range highs, right, and then buying back here is totally fine. Who cares if the end result is going to be this? And that's exactly how I feel here. If we are indeed so back, we're going to 130, 140, maybe 150K. Awesome. I don't care if I didn't buy at 94 or if I sold at 94 and I have to rebuy at 100. Who cares? That $6,000 delta there, meaningless. When you can buy with confirmation and you're protecting yourself for downside. One thing that people never do when they think about trading is what if you're wrong? Because the bullish argument here is that this is the bottom. So you're calling the bottom is in. And not only are you calling the bottom is in, you're now trying to convince yourself and tell other people that not only is the bottom in, but we're also 25% up for the month of April. Bitcoin's up $20,000, and it's just going to keep going. There's going to be no pullback, and it's just going to keep going all the way up to all-time high. Just logically speaking, I think the bearish argument holds more water, and even if the bulls are right, defending yourself and being cautious here and maybe waiting to see how another couple's candles close, I think gives you a lot more optionality to buy on confirmation and to protect yourself from, if you're a bull and you're wrong, what happens if we do this? And you prayed to God to sell here, you didn't. Then you prayed to God you'd sell here if you could, and you didn't. And now we're down here, and what are you going to do? Are you going to hold for all that drawdown as well? So I would rather have the options. I would rather protect myself. So I did hedge with a little bit of a short, and I did sell some spot. Not all of it, but I sold some spot. I told you guys I was going to do this. I said as soon as we break 3-day or weekly structure, technically the top is in based on prior bull runs, and I didn't do it when we broke here immediately. And then we came up and tested, and I had a chance, and I didn't. I'm not going away from my plan twice. This is the area I told myself I would de-risk. That's what I'm doing, and I have no problem buying back because guess what? I longed ETH from here to here. I bought spot Bitcoin down here, and I sold some of it here. I've made money over the last month and a half, 2 months plus. I still have spot from much lower. I have the ability to short. I have options. I have money. I'm managing my risk. I have options. Okay? And that's where I feel most comfortable. So that's what I'm doing. Whether or not I'm right or wrong, I don't really care, because if we dump from here, great, I protected myself. If we rip from here, I still have exposure and I can buy more with a lot of confidence, okay? So that's what I'm doing. Zooming in on the low time frame here. We took out that high I was talking about here. We've now also put in an H12 SFP here. So maybe this is going to roll over a little bit, right? We'll get a little bit of a pullback. And then the bullish scenario, in my opinion, obviously the ultra bullish scenarios, we just go sideways here, right? And then up again. But I think a much more likely scenario, if the bulls are going to play out, is this weekly trade idea. So we get a weekly structure break here, ideally. Still, it's only Friday. And then any sort of retest here becomes your long, and you just simply target all-time highs, and your risk is there. That's an easy trade on the weekly, risk defined, and I'll absolutely be taking a punt, whether it be on the weekly itself or going down to the low time frame looking for a low time frame trigger. So we'll watch and see if we get a bit of a pullback here down towards 90, maybe 88K. Maybe I'll take some of my hedge off there, and then maybe I'll start hunting for some longs. But that's my game plan for now. I feel like I'm protected if there's downside at the most obvious resistance level on the chart, with everyone and their mother being extremely bullish, even though nothing has really changed on the macro side yet. There's no resolution to the China deal. Trump can still come out and say something crazy. The stock market still appears to just be doing a corrective bounce here, and it's going to be coming up into resistance here soon. So there's a good chance that maybe it doesn't make a new low, but this definitely pulls back, okay? So we're going to have to wait and see. But I feel protected. I feel prepared. I'm trusting my plan. I'm making money. It's all good things. And when you prepare and do your analysis correctly, when you get this big green candle right into resistance, you don't fall prey to euphoria and FOMO and all of this stuff that you see a lot of people doing on Twitter right now because you have a plan. It's no different than how do people catch the knife? Oh my God, price did this and then it was fully back. And how did they buy here? Well, maybe they did their analysis. They had a level here and they said, hey, if it comes here, I'm going to buy. If you prepare and you plan, it's going to allow you to execute at a higher level when price actually comes to your areas of interest, as opposed to you panicking and acting irrationally, maybe FOMOing into a bad position. All right, so that's my plan. On the altcoin side, we've seen some altcoins rip. Something happened with Bonk today. I'm not even sure, but it like ripped today right up into my kind of key resistance level here. This is going to be a big level for Bonk to overcome, this diagonal as well as this order block here. So we'll see how that goes. But a lot of stuff, while it's bouncing really hard and it looks really good, a lot of this stuff could just be putting in bearish retests. Like we could be seeing bearish retests across the board. So you got to keep that in mind. I think ETH looks decent here, right? It's back above last month's low there. So you can mark that out and say, okay, we're back above last month's low. Maybe this is time for ETH to get a serious relief rally going. Absolutely possible. I think it's all going to depend on Bitcoin. In terms of short-term trades, if Bitcoin can consolidate here, I think we can see a lot of alts continue to catch up and perform well over the weekend while TradFi is closed. But if Bitcoin rolls over and maybe comes back down to here, let's say, you're going to go and look at Bitcoin dominance and you're going to say, okay, this thing is still strong as fuck. So if Bitcoin rolls over, alts probably take a big shit. So that's all I got for you guys here. Very quick update. Sorry I didn't get a stream, but it's a little late. It's a Friday. Leave me be. I will stream on Sunday. I hope you guys enjoy. As always, much love. If you got any questions, links for everything in the description. I'll talk to you soon. Have a great weekend.